like to call a regular scheduled council meeting of March 17th, 2026 to order. We have no public hearings scheduled. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda from administration?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, with council's permission, I have three. One is under 13.1, just general correspondence from Rose Ridge. And it's about a meeting coming up here April 9th. Then in closed session, we mentioned one, I don't think it got added to the agenda, and it was be 14.1.1 intergov relations under section 26.1, and then 14.1.2 personnel under advice from officials 29.1A.
Thank you. Look for a motion from council to accept those additions to the agenda. Councillor Crosby, thank you.
I'll move that we move the following items be added to the regular agenda, please.
Thank you. Discussion? Call that question, all in favor? And that's carried. Councillor Smith. Did you want to accept the amended agenda?
Sure, absolutely.
I just thought, seems as how you two were so quick on the draw. So a motion to accept the amended agenda. Call that question, all in favor? And that's carried as well. Thank you. No public input or delegations, but we do have a presentation tonight. James McDonald, Executive Director of the Northern Lights Library System, is with us, and we're glad to see you back again. We had the library contingent a couple of weeks ago, so the floor is yours, and please
Thank you.
enlighten us.
I appreciate it. It's always good to be out here. I appreciate Redwater's participation in the library system. So for those that don't know, and maybe that are online, Northern Lights is one of 7 regional library systems in the province. We have 63 participating communities. I'm not sure if I'm aware of any other thing where we get that many municipalities joining together on something, but we act like a co-op. Everybody puts in money based on their population, and that pooled money allows us to provide services to your library and your residents that they couldn't otherwise afford. And I say 63 communities because it's not just municipalities. In January, we had the Kikino Métis settlement formed a local library board and has joined the library system, which is very exciting to have them on board. They are the 5th Indigenous community to join the system and to form a local library board. There are 7 local library boards, as far as I'm aware, on Indigenous communities in the entire province, and 5 of them are in Northern Lights. So we're very pleased to have them, and hopefully eventually we'll have all those in our region join us. It just strengthens the system altogether. For those that have seen my presentation before, and I think it's been a while since I've been to Redwater, a couple of years at least, but I tend to focus on the circulation statistics, the books that go around, because those are quite easily quantifiable and you can see the value, the economic value, and I'll speak to those. But I'll leave you a copy of our service catalog. This has my contact information in it. It links QR codes that go to our budget, that go to the plan of service, our strategic plan, all of that, and outlines kind of all that we do. Because it goes well beyond books. We help with your summer reading winter programs. We help with internet services, for example, IT support, consulting services, policy development, all sorts of stuff that we do for your libraries and helping them to provide a usable service here in the community. But circulation statistics. So 2025 numbers. Your residents circulated 1,755 ebooks and e-audiobooks in 2025, which is pretty substantial, and 8,800 physical books. You get a van run at least once a week that drops off and picks up books and spreads them throughout the region. We move nearly 800,000 physical books in the region every year. And your staff reached out to our staff at headquarters there 59 times. So there are 52 weeks in the year. So you probably, we do put a dollar value on that, but the reality is the questions vary. Sometimes they're really quick ordering or whatever, and sometimes they're much more involved. And it's a spread of staff and a spread of expertise there, right? So it's hard to value that. You'd have to have some significant more staff here in Redwater to solve those issues. You bought 573 books through Northern Lights in 2025, so brand new books, and you saved quite a bit. We buy a lot of books. We buy about $400,000 worth of books a year, so we command some pretty big discounts. So just purchasing through Northern Lights, we know you saved $3,600 right there, because we record the retail value of the book, and we know exactly what we spent on the book. And I'm not a mathematician; I'm just a librarian, but I can subtract. So we save yourself a fair bit. And we do the cataloging, the processing of those books, so when they arrive at your library, they don't have to do anything but check it in and stick it on the shelf, right? Or more likely, check it in and hand it off to one of your residents, we hope. So a lot happening there with the circulation. If you pay to be a member, obviously $11,394 a year. If somebody might say, well, why don't we take that $11,000 and just spread it out amongst the residents, and we'll just buy whatever books we want. Well, you wouldn't have got very far, because in 2025, your residents circulated $367,000 worth of books, e-books, e-audiobooks, and physical books. So you're doing pretty well there. And we also take out of that levy cost, and it's all going to operating like gas in the van and tires and things like that, or salaries. We take $2.15 per person that's set aside for the purchase of those books, right, that we talked about earlier. So you get a book allotment. Because the county is a member, they also provide a book allotment. So while you pay, a levy cost of $11,000, $12,000, you get $13,000 in book allotment. So just capital from those two sources, which is great. And you also get, because the county is a member, they also qualify for a grant, and you get about $5,200 in grant passed on from the county too for operating. So for every dollar you're investing in Northern Lights, you're getting $38 in value back, which is pretty good. I mean, I have a few stocks. I don't have many where I invest $1 and I get $38 back. Some of you savvy folks would go, oh, but that's half the levy, because the other half, and we give more money to the library, so we're kind of paying both. Well, okay, so you caught me. You can cut that in half. Maybe it's $22 or $20 or whatever per dollar. But that's pretty significant, I think, return on investment. And again, that's just for those circulation stats. It's not for all the other things that we do for your library to help them provide services. So I'm going to change gears just real quick. I brought these posters for you. Hopefully get these out in the community. I wanted to talk about some of the electronic resources that are available to your residents. And we're constantly curating these and trying to get the best value resources we can, the ones that people will actually use. And we talk to our librarians about, and they talk to your residents about what would work for them. And so just in 2025 alone, we added a few resources that I want to highlight. And I'll also say, go to the library website, go to electronic resources section. There's a lot there, whether it's LinkedIn Learning to learn new software programs, or whether it's News Press Reader to get newspaper articles. There's a lot there. But in 2025, we added some exciting ones. So I'll start with the smallest one. We added The Athletic, which is a magazine for those sports nuts out there. So if you want to read all about why we lost the gold medal in hockey games, it's going to be there in The Athletic. Don't pay for the magazine. Go use your library card and go online and read to your heart's content. We also added Transparent Language, which is a language learning app. This is like Duolingo. So it's great for the students that are wanting to learn French or whatever for school, but it's also great for people moving into your community whose first language isn't English. This will help them with that, gaining those skills. And again, it's free. They don't have to have some subscription to a program. We also added a number of all-access collections. One of the things we hear from people is, yeah, the library's great, but some of these books we have to wait a long time because we don't have an infinite amount of money. I know I'm 43rd in line for a book I've been waiting for a few months. And so we wanted to provide services where there's no wait lines. So we've got some all-access online content, a romance collection, mystery collection, and all-access comics, which is pretty great. We added those in 2025. And so there's no waiting. These are several thousand titles. Like Netflix, they change out every month. Older ones fall off and new stuff comes in. And so there's always something there for people to access, which is pretty great. And finally, at the end of the year, we added a really cool service called Canopy with a K. This is like Netflix. It focuses on documentaries. This is a streaming video service. You can get it on your smart TV. You can get it on your Apple TV, your Fire TV, on your laptop, and your phone, whatever, just with your library login. And it has tons of documentaries in there, but BBC TV series, movies, etc. And you can stream to your heart's content, and then maybe take some off of people some of those subscription costs that they're paying all the time. So check out Canopy. It's a great tool. But just a flavor of sort of some of the things that are available to your residents that they may or may not know about. We hope that we try to provide things like these posters and other marketing materials to get it out, the word out to your residents, and let them know that that kind of thing is available to them. The library system is doing quite well. I think we're doing well. We're stable financially. We continue to refine our services and our programs. We really appreciate your participation in the system, and we know that we try to keep our levy increases stable and very modest and predictable. We haven't talked about our 2027 budget yet, but I anticipate, stable and modest and less than 1.5%. I'm hoping. So, and we're definitely advocating with the provincial government for future funding as well. We had both an RMA and an AB Munis resolution passed this year. Fortunately, nothing in this budget. Oil remains over $100 a barrel. Maybe next budget would be nice to see something, but continue to ask those questions and advocate with the MLAs. So I'm happy to answer any questions or thoughts you might have.
Council, anything for James?
Everybody got a library card?
You mentioned the Alberta Munis and the RMA scenario. I think it was 3 years ago that we made a presentation at the Bear Pit to the minister for more funding for libraries across the board. And I think we ended up with, what was it?
5 cents.
2%, 5 cents or
5
something.
cents, yeah.
Something like that. So I think you can probably guarantee we're still going to be beating that drum when we do go to those events. I think we assist our local library over and above what the figures are that you have here. So that's a big draw. But I just want to compliment you on the youth programs that I see happening at the library. I think that's phenomenal that we've kind of taken that step to add something to the package.
Yeah, and I can't take credit. You guys have great library board, great library staff. We're there to help. We're there to support them and give them the extra boost that they need. And Ali has been, library manager, has been phenomenal. She's always been part of our summer winter reading programs, helping with the art and et cetera. And so the programming is excellent coming out of Brent. Good job, guys.
Anything more? No, administration, you're okay.
I had one question, James. So you talked about the streaming services that, through your library card. Is there a way to get, because a lot of the publications that you talked about, and the Athletic being one of them, they're online as well.
Yeah.
Is there a way of getting that online onto your phone the same way as the streaming?
Yep, you can get all this stuff is available right on your phone. In fact, as I'm driving out here, I'm listening to a book as I'm on my phone. Most of this stuff is very simple. Hop into your library, get it set up if you can't figure it out on your own. But really just go to that library website under electronic resources. There's a long list of very good content in there that you just, you'd have to be paying through the nose to have otherwise. So yeah, and most of it is accessible directly on your phone. Even this Transparent Languages is an app, The Athletic, you can get it right on your phone. So yeah, absolutely.
James, thank you for keeping Redwater in the forefront of the NLLS system. I was on it for a short bit. Councillor Spicer was involved. I think Councillor Cosby is as well. So, and our local library board representatives. Like you said, the return on investment is huge. So, thank you for everything that you do in that respect.
Thank you. We appreciate you having you guys. Thank you very much.
care and safe drive.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Like I say, my contact information's in there, so just give me a call if I walk out and you're like, oh, I hear. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thanks, James. Okay. 8.1 minutes of March the 3rd, 2026. Councillor Smith? The motion to accept them?
Yes, I do, I'm sorry.
Little blank.
No, it's coughing.
No, he was. Any errors or omissions, comments? Not seeing any, I'll call that question. All in favor? And that's carried. Any business arising out of the minutes and or unfinished business from administration?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, none that I recalled, so.
Anything from council? The only one I had was, were we able to notify the homeowner of that possible
Believe so.
floppy thing? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. You don't see it flapping, so I guess one of two things, either it got fixed or the
Come off.
wind stopped.
Yes, we did.
Fixed or it's in Saskatoon.
Or the wind stopped, one of the two. So I'll call that question. All in favor of acceptance of the minutes? And that's, that,
You did that already.
did we?
This is the unfinished business thing you
Oh,
already-
yes, we did, okay. It's done real well now. QMP and SLMS.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. You had me going there with flappy thing, and I was like, I'm not sure which one we're talking about. But, you got it sorted. And yes, it has been taken care of. Sorry, bear with me. I've got a lingering cough that is driving me bananas. So we're here to talk about the quality management plan in reference to the natural gas system that we oversee and run, operate, maintain. The quality management plan, the quality management plan highlights the safety-related components of the Town of Redwater's gas utilities design, construction, operation, and maintenance program. Council, along with the Chief Administrative Officer and/or designate, will have reviewed the QMP in its entirety, and the urban gas utility hereby accepts the responsibility for compliance of their distribution system with this plan. Our recommendation: administration recommends signing, approving, and adopting the updated gas utility quality management plan dated February 2026 as presented. And we'll move on to the background. Council approved bylaw 835 on April 4th, 2016. This bylaw provides council with the authority to adopt a quality management plan and authorizes the mayor and CAO to sign a QMP. Part of the requirements of owning and operating natural gas utility is the requirement for the operator, in our case us, to incorporate a quality management plan. The QMP assists owners in understanding their responsibilities in relation to design, operation, and maintenance to ensure the system is safe for our customers, our employees, and the general public. In relation to discussion, to help facilitate the responsibilities put upon the operator, the Department of Affordability and Utilities assists by developing the QMP. It is then the operator's responsibility to approve it. The QMP will change from time to time to incorporate industry changes, and the adoption of the QMP upon changes demonstrates the operator's commitment to a safe and accurately operated natural gas utility. With this bylaw, the QMP can simply be amended as needed and approved through resolution of council. The bylaw is an enabling bylaw, that being to authorize council to adopt a QMP. In February 2026, the Department of Affordability and Utilities issued an updated QMP, as you'll see in the attachments, and a copy of the QMP and bylaw are attached for reference. Onto relevant legislation, standards, policies, or plans: the Gas Distribution Act, the Pipeline Act and Regulations, the MGA, Gas Utilities Act, as applicable, OH&S Act, Canadian Standards Association, CSA Z662, Canadian Standards Association, CSA Z246.2, Technical Standards Manual for Gas Distribution Systems in Alberta, issued by Rural Utilities, who we report to once we do our infills, and Guidelines for Operations and Maintenance Practices in Alberta Natural Gas Utilities, issued by the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops. And the Alberta Energy Regulator Directive 71, Emergency Preparedness and Response Requirements for the Petroleum Industry, last but not least, that was a long list, bylaw 835. And that is my RFD.
Go ahead, Councillor Brown.
I'll move the council adopt and sign the updated gas utility QMP dated February 26th as presented.
Thank you. Discussion. Names go on this, so this is where it's important to ask any questions.
Absolutely.
Same one that comes up every year.
I did have a couple of other questions that came to mind, but I was wondering if anybody else at the table wanted to ask anything first. Our bylaw is 2016. Not sure if there's been significant changes or requirements with respect to the structuring of the bylaw. It's pretty plain Jane. It's only the one page. Is that something that has to come back for review at some point in time through the committee?
Yeah, so, sorry, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, that will come back through the committee as part of the list that we presented in. It likely won't take a lot of changes because it's purely an enabling bylaw, but at least it'll go into the new format and be updated, so.
Okay.
I just want to add to that, because under the Quality Management Plan, they refer to Section 2 of the MGA. However, our bylaw says Section 3, so I'm not sure if
Yeah.
it needs to be updated in that regard too.
It'll come back through for those little pieces, but it won't have a lot of significant changes, so we'll just double check Section 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
Because the MGA hasn't changed since 2016.
Yeah, but I noticed that
Yeah.
in the Quality Management Plan that's attached here, they're referring to Section 2.
And our bylaw says.
And our bylaw says Section 3, so. And I mean, I can't find the MGA, because Section 2 or Section 3.
We'll double check. I didn't pick that up.
No, I mean, it's an old bylaw too, so.
In the QMP itself, in the end of the second paragraph, it talks about chief officer, and they also talk throughout the document about the manager, the chief administrative officer, the gas utility manager. Is the chief officer a provincial role and
Yeah.
or subservient to it?
Not necessarily subservient, but it's just a different branch of the same tree, so to speak.
So that's not somebody we have, it's somebody at the provincial.
We have the manager.
Okay.
We have to designate all the positions throughout the chain, and they get reported back.
Where I'm sort of looking at.
And there was a comment where they talked about the requirement that we have for the low-pressure system and any ancillary piping, what have you. So is that both, because we have a high-pressure line that comes in, correct?
Yep, that's the feeder line that comes from TC to the gate station.
And then it's reduced in pressure from there.
Yeah, through the regulators there, and then at the end of the day, our entire system inside the town is low pressure.
Okay. So we're responsible for both of those systems?
Correct.
Low and high? Okay.
Yeah, there's another little added piece that the Federation of Gas Co-ops actually dropped on us in 2025, is a risk management plan, which we haven't completed yet, but it's only for the high pressure line, which in our case is the feeder line from TC to us to the gate station, and that'll be adopted next year. But it was just brought in 2025. It's a pretty substantial document, and takes a little bit of time to get through it. So.
And go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, what is the pressure on the other side of the high pressure once you reduce it?
It's usually about 20 psi or
Okay.
lower. Yeah.
Okay. And then the houses, it's this.
Drops significantly through regulators.
To 11 or 14 of water.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's as I said, the main lines and we've talked about this before, but when it comes to our RMP, it'll be an interesting one because as we know, those lines are pretty old. So it'll be all caught in the information in there. But as far as the low pressure side goes, there's no RMP on the low pressure side. It's purely focused on high pressure.
There's a section entitled Emergency Preparedness and Response. I noticed Saturday, the city of Prince George had a major evacuation due to a gas leak problem. Do we talk about our emergency preparedness and response with SREMP? Because we're the only municipality in SREMP that has our own distribution system. So they would be probably familiar with some of the other big providers, the ATCOs of the world. But I'm wondering if they understand our connection here on a response basis.
That's a fair point, actually. Ours pretty much runs through the Federation of Gas Co-op, and they're the main people that we keep informed about it. But SREMP, on the other hand, if something ever happened, it would be like our normal process where we then make those calls and they enter into our, whether we declare a state of local emergency or whether we stand up our ECC or whatever we do, we would then inform, and they would. I'm sure they're prepared to deal with those things as well, but.
Because I know they do a all hazards assessment every year at the SREMP level, and I'm just wondering if it's ever been brought up that, the natural gas system is Redwater is locally run, not.
Yeah, they're certainly aware of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, just a little bit more on that. Who runs it doesn't really matter in the assessment from the emergency management plan. The fact that it's in your municipality says, okay, the only thing that changes is who do you contact?
That's right.
Right? That's really the only thing that changes. Because if we got to evacuate, and I don't want to use Gibbons, if there's another municipality that has to evacuate within the SREP region, the same process happens. It's just because it'll never be the gas provider who does the evacuation order. It'll always be from the municipality, and then it funnels down from there. So it's relevant, but it doesn't really change the planning for it. It just changes who you have to interact with to get the issue dealt with, I guess, basically.
Go ahead, Councilor
The
Rose.
biggest thing with that too there, Mr. Mayor, is under the AER Directive 71, with the emergency management planning and everything, they want us to conduct your exercises. But the board's been given directive from the membership to sort of change that, try to get them to change it, because some of the smaller co-ops, in order to have a full-blown tabletop or live exercise, is just not financially feasible for them. So they're trying to get it so a bunch of us can get together and hold a one type thing, so.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just on that, so SREM just went through their provincial audit this week. That's, I was at that meeting on Monday, and one of the things that's being highlighted is just that, and it's not just for gas, it's for the smaller municipalities in general. As we've gone through a number of different emergencies in the province over the last 10 to 15 years, the Act has kind of become more prescriptive. You must do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. The latest one that we have to work on is outlining and designating evacuation routes out of municipalities. Although it's easier for a smaller municipality because there's less roads, doing that work is actually, it takes some time, it takes some effort to do that. And it's another one of these examples where, for some of the small municipalities, that's why there's more and more of these regional emergency management systems. Because, quite frankly, even for a community our size, and we're not large, but we're not as small as some of the the small summer villages, etc. And what happens is they don't have they just don't have the resources. If you look at some of these summer villages, they have an administrator who manages contracts And oh, by the way, they do it 3 days out of, they're working 3 days out of the week. But the Emergency Management Act says a municipality must do A, B, C, and D. It doesn't say unless you're a summer village, or unless you're a municipality under this size, or unless, it says this is what you have to do. And so that whole ability to follow the regulations, and everybody wants to do it. How do you have those resources? And so, that's what SRAM identified however many years ago, that all these small municipalities don't have those resources. And I think the gas co-ops are doing exactly the same thing, going, those resources just aren't there, so how do we make this work, right? So I think that's one of the challenges as we go through this. And, with this one, we only have one high pressure line. Imagine if you're a bit of a larger municipality, and you might have 3 or 4 of these lines, and where they are, et cetera. Now your risk management plan is exponentially more complex to deal with, right? We're lucky. It's a high pressure line. It's not in the middle of a populated area, so ours is gonna be relatively easy.
And it's only a few meters long compared to,
Yeah,
some of them have 15, 20 kilometers before the.
and et cetera, right? So, but again, the more you go into that, the more complex it gets, the harder it gets for smaller municipalities to comply.
Anything else from council? Last question, the important one. Are we doing these things that we are required to do?
Absolutely, we are, bit by bit, and at the end of the day, I would say that, actually I will say that we are doing our best to comply with absolutely everything that is both within the O&M and part of the QMP, and gradually updating as we go, and gradually changing the system and refining as we move along.
Motion on the table to adopt the O&M manual. Any further?
P manual.
QMP.
O&M's
Oh,
last.
and next, yeah.
I'm sorry, mine shows that the first motion is for the O&M manual.
Quality management plan is where we're at. We're at.
Okay, hang on 1 second.
10.1.
Two is for the OMP.
See what happens.
The system.
You made the motion.
You made the motion, so you would know for sure. I just, it's, just give me 1 second here.
That's slow.
Yeah. As I say, they both came in, so, okay. So the motion is for the QMP, and no further discussion. Call that question, all in favor? And that's carried. Somebody want to tell me what the next one on the list is while my computer decides what to think
Gas
about?
utility cores O&M manual.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So we'll move on to the adoption of the 3, it's technically 4, but cores of the O&M manual. So the purpose of this RFD is to adopt the following gas utility fed gas co-op programs: adoption of the O&M manual, adoption of the emergency preparedness and response program, adoption of the integrity management program, and adoption of the safety and loss management system. Recommendation: administration recommends that the town of Redwater adopt the 4 core programs, including the O&M manual as revised from time to time. Not from time to time, it's taken heavy revisions in the last couple of years. It's hard to keep up with. Onto the background. As per the requirements of owning and operating a natural gas utility, the operator is required to incorporate and adopt the O&M manual, emergency management and preparedness program, safety and loss management system, and the integrity management program. This O&M manual and its core programs assist owners and operators in understanding their responsibilities in relation to design, operation, and maintenance, of a natural gas utility system to ensure the system is safe for our customers, employees, and the general public. The Distributors Council ensures that the distribution system is designed, constructed, operated, and maintained in a manner that will ensure the safety of its customers, employees, or the general public. This is ensured by the adoption of the O&M manual guidelines, which is this big yellow folder right here. The distributor has assigned the responsibility of administering the integrity management program to the general manager operations and his certified team members. Those responsibilities shall include pipeline integrity management program development and improvement, records management, pipeline integrity management program planning and reporting, implementation of plans, integrity performance indicators, integrity program audits, reviews, and evaluations. The distributor will maintain documentation that tracks certification expiry dates and is committed to ensure the level of training meets industry requirements. The training is available through Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and/or local accredited training facilities. The Safety and Loss Management System sets an in-depth guideline for developing, documenting, and implementing SLMS for the distribution system protecting life, safety, environment, and property. The Emergency Preparedness and Response Program is designed to assist the distributor, board, council, management, and employees in all phases of the emergency management cycle. I did realize I left out the IMP, so I just quickly grabbed it while I was at my desk. The Integrity Management Program defines how the town manages the condition and risk of its gas distribution system. It brings together inspection, maintenance, monitoring, and risk assessment activities to ensure the system operates safely, reliably, and in compliance with regulatory requirements throughout its life cycle. At least every 3 years, each Gas Federation member must adopt the O&M manual through a board or council motion. The town provides this annually to council. Of note for council, periodically Fed Gas may provide required updates. These updates are incorporated into operation as they are received and are updated to council upon annual approval. Annually, the updated Integrity Management Plan, Safety and Loss Management System, Emergency Preparedness and Response documents must be adopted. Financial impacts, internal impacts, external impacts are NA on this one. Relevant legislation, standards, policies, or plans. I read that full list in the last one, so I won't go back through that one. But as you know, the attachments are the IMP, the SLMS, and the 2026 declaration form, as you saw, as attachments. And that is my RFD.
Thank you. Councillor Spicer.
I move that the town of Redwater adopt the O&M manual as presented.
Discussion. Go ahead, Councillor Cosby.
I do realize that these attachments are all templates, but they're referring to an XYZ co-op company. That would be updated to, say, the town of Redwater?
Correct.
In all three of these documents.
That's correct.
Call that question. All in favor? Carried. Motion 2, Councillor Olson.
I'll move that the town of Redwater adopt the Emergency Preparedness and Response Program as presented.
Discussion? Not seeing anything. I'll call that question. All in favor? That's carried. Councillor Cosby.
I'll move that the town of Redwater adopt the Integrity Management Program, IMP, as presented.
Thank you. Discussion? Call that question. All in favor? Councillor Olson.
I'll move that the town of Redwater adopt the Safety and Loss Management System, SLMS, as presented.
Further discussion? Not seeing any, I'll call that question. All in favor? And that also is carried. Thank you, and I apologize to council. No idea what my computer was doing, but blank screens are hard to read off. Reports. So let's start. Councillor Spicer, anything to report?
Nothing to report at this moment.
Councillor Brown, anything to add to your report?
Nope, nothing to add.
Thank you. Councillor Smith?
No, I'm good.
Councillor Cosby?
Nothing further to add.
Councillor Olson?
Just a quick little note from Minister Nally's Transportation Infrastructure Committee meeting on Friday. As far as he's concerned, $9 million's being spent this year on Vinca. So the engineering's supposed to be done. 1 or 2 pipelines have to be moved. You might see, I don't know, something yellow down there.
Do we have a picture of where they're putting it? I knew it was supposed to be upstream.
Classified.
Okay.
As far as I don't know, you weren't on council when that. As far as I know,
It's supposed to be upstream of where,
yeah,
upstream.
upstream, and then basically where the, where the old barn is,
Yeah.
down there, it should be going over top of that, the way I understood it. And you'll continue on with no turn or stop sign down 8:30,
To 15 there.
yeah, 8:30, yeah, 8:30 down to Bruderheim. 45 will come to the T and have to stop. And then they'll take out the old bridge.
Go on.
Thanks.
Look for a motion to accept reports.
I can make a
Counselor.
motion to accept the reports.
Thank you. Call the question, all in favor? Any, no opposition, that's carried. All right. General correspondence. So we have some correspondence and associated email. With respect to an assessment of the impact of affordability funding changes on lower income families and their access to regulated childcare. I spent some time on this report, and the one thing I'd like to say is that nowhere in the report did I see any input from small communities. Everything I noted was larger, medium-sized cities. So I don't know what environment they used to develop their programs or their methodology. But at the end of the day, it was very informative, lots of information. And some of the important facts for anybody that might be listening is that all Alberta parents now pay a minimum of $326.25 per month for full-time childcare per child. So,
Min or max?
sorry?
Minimum or max?
It says a minimum of $326.25 with the loss of the subsidy program. And then they go on to say there's no subsidy available. I was looking here for the number of days, but they had 33 childcare centers that they looked at, 4 day home agencies, and 20 interviews with lower income families accessing child care. So again, no idea of where they are, but all of their statistics relate to a percentage of the 33 units that they investigated. So they did indicate that some of the service providers have a sliding scale depending on how old your child is. There's less for infant care and more for kindergarten-age children, but it was an interesting read, to say the least. And there was the accompanying email congratulating us on the election victory and working with them in the future. Then there's some correspondence that we received from Rose Ridge, and did you want to speak to that, Mr. Van Buell, or?
Yeah, I can. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, as most of our council's aware, we started a process, or Rose Ridge started a process in excess of a year and a half ago now of analyzing and looking into the feasibility and possibility of doing regional waste collection through Rose Ridge, and trying to get some economies of scale with our contractors, et cetera, et cetera. Rose Ridge is at the point now where they're at a point where they're prepared to make some recommendations, and they've sent some reports out. I met with Susan Berry about a week ago now, maybe a week and a half ago now, and I suggested to Susan that we have another meeting with all the municipal councils, because back in, what was it, September? We kind of did the phase one to give all the councils an idea of where we were at, give councils an idea or an ability to give some input and feedback. Now, before we go back to all the councils and say, because it's time to say, are we in or are we out, as a municipality? And I think to give the project its due, my recommendation to Susan was get all the councils back. Not all the councilors will want to go. Some will have enough information, that's fine. But give everybody the opportunity to come back and ask those questions, not filtered through the CAOs who aren't necessarily equipped with all the answers. But, you know, Susan and her staff and the consultants certainly are, that they've hired. And so that, those are just proposing Thursday, April 9th for that meeting. So it's there for council. Certainly I would encourage all of our council to attend. I will certainly be attending to answer any of the questions that I have. And then we'll be prepared to come back with a report to council to say, here's what they're doing, here's our options, here's kind of what the financial implications look like for the town of Redwater, as well as our ratepayers. What are the benefits, what are the potential pitfalls, and then council will have to get back to Roseridge and say, we're a municipality that's in, or no, we're gonna continue to do the work the way we are right now.
That's it in a nutshell.
That's it in 5 minutes or less, but there are a lot of, like, when the package comes out, there's some information that certainly will impact our residents and potentially impact our businesses. I think, you know, without spilling all the beans, I think there's some benefits for our businesses that are certainly worth pursuing. That won't cost any additional dollars. In fact, I think it might be beneficial financially for our businesses.
That won't be in the phase one, I don't think,
No.
but that is, if it progresses that way, it's big for the businesses. It is.
Councillor Smith, I know you sit on the Roseridge Committee. Is there anything you'd like to add to this discussion point?
Well, other than a couple points, actually. One, it started way before 2024. Councillor Olson was trying to get that organized when, 7, 8 years ago?
Easily, yep.
So it's been ongoing. And the other one, I didn't realize that it was for councils. I thought it was just representatives and CAOs. But I mean, I'm fine with
My
that.
understanding is it'll be open to any of the councillors who want to attend.
Okay.
But I will double check that. That was certainly what's,
You trying to keep me from going there, Mr. Smith?
Not a bit.
and again, that was my recommendation, because without it, that information is gonna go from consultant to Susan to Ken, or, you know, whatever other CEO, and then
Yep.
into councils. And my recommendation was give each of the councilors a chance to go right to the source, and you know, so everybody gets the same information from one place.
Okay.
So I will double check that, but that is my understanding. It's for all of council.
Okay. I know that an initial meeting that we did have, and like you said, it was back September-ish or whatever. It was pre-election anyway, if I'm not mistaken. It was a good meeting. There was lots of information there to be digested and what have you. So another kick at that cat might be another exploration. Another exploration of impact would be beneficial, I think. So, okay.
Yeah, and again, the key here is Roseridge is at a point now where they need to know, are they proceeding anymore? Like, are all the municipalities in, or 2 municipalities in, or is one, like, where are we at? So that they can say, yeah, this is worth, you know, going down and negotiating, you know, one contract, et cetera, et cetera. So it's, you know, it's rubber hitting the pavement time. So it's decision day.
Look for a motion to accept correspondence as, general correspondence as presented.
Mr. Mayor, sorry, just before you do that, I just want to make a couple comments on the fire report, if I could, the after-action report.
Oh, I was gonna actually bring that up during reports.
Okay.
And I forgot. But,
It's in my report.
that's why I was gonna bring, I wanted, first of all, I wanted to compliment you for attaching that. That was great.
I didn't realize it was that big, but
Strem, but
With this meeting on the 9th, can we get that in our calendars if we're there? So I really like it. I really recommend that we all go to it. Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to make sure that was in there.
it might be there. I already put it in mine, so council calendar.
so I'll
Make a
just,
motion to accept.
the
Correspondence
correspondence,
information.
thank you. I'll call that question. All in favor? Okay, and I'll reopen reports because Councillor Olson provided us with a really good document with respect to the after-action report from the fire. So I'll open that up. Mr. Van Buell, if you'd like to start us off, please.
Yeah, so, Mr. Mayor, members of council, so this is the after-action report from the Redwater Recreation Area wildfire. It was commissioned by Sturgeon County to kind of go through a lessons learned. You know, what went well, what do we need to work on, what are some of the priorities, and there's a list, I think there's 50-some priorities if you go through them all in different categories, and certainly, you know, feel free to read it. The point of this from my perspective was not to go through each of the recommendations, but one of the things that was a bit of a point of contention amongst the members, and it wasn't a big piece, but I know Chad struggled with it, and that was the regional emergency management system responded to the fire. Sturgeon County did the after-action report, and there was limited availability to release that report to the municipalities before it went to Sturgeon County. And it's one of the things that we, as we go through our SRAMP agreement, we need to deal with, because there are some things in here that affect the other municipalities that came out of the report that the municipalities didn't get a chance to comment on before they saw them, right? And so it affects the entire workings of SRAM. And it's not that they're bad. We're not saying that anything in here is bad. It's just, it's a process issue that we've got to clean up when we have these major events of, even though it's being paid for by the municipality that's paying the bills, I guess. And it has to be that way, because if you don't fund it that way, the costs of the report are, you can't put, they're accrued to SREP then and not to the event. And the general practice is this report gets funded by basically the province through the emergency program, right? So it's just one of the things that we want to clean up in the agreement on a go-forward basis. And like I said, there's a lot of really good recommendations in here, and you know, not saying that we would have changed anything, but one of the things that I know Chad struggled with was not being able to give this to the membership before it went through his council. And to be honest with you, I don't think Sturgeon has a problem with it. It's just because it hasn't been done before, it was like, okay, what's the right process? But I think everybody agrees that these things should be vetted through all of the municipalities, because it's SRAMP who responds to the emergency. It should be vetted by all the municipalities before it goes public, not just one. So that was the comment that I wanted to bring forward on that.
Does anyone else have some comments on the after-action report?
I do want to say that through our last shrimp meeting, Chief Moore did state that, you know, some of the stuff they were already in the process of doing prior to the emergency, but Then again, it wasn't complete when the emergency happened, so, but it was put on the list as stuff that had to be done. And he seemed quite happy. There was a few things, like he said, it was his first big situation and put in that position. And there was some learnings on their behalf as well, and everybody's. So it is one of those things that you learn. It is a big, the job was done. The job was done professionally, but there was still things that you're going to learn from it.
I just wanted, anybody else? I just wanted to highlight a couple of the key statistics of the report, just for the record. $11.5 million is the estimated cost of the response as of the report being written. So anybody who sat back and watched what was happening from here, that's a huge number. That's a lot of zeros involved in fighting that fire. It wasn't just a small thing. 3,230 hectares burned. Over 1,100 meters of fencing required repairing. 77 households evacuated, and 21 landowners affected with loss and what have you. And then you go down just a little bit further, and it tells us that there were 2,200 shifts worked, 571 external individuals outside of the county involved in the response, 187 county staff that were deployed during the response, 5,857 internal staff hours, 15,000 external staff hours, 65 internal equipment pieces from Sturgeon County, 29 municipalities supported them, and 2 heavy industry supporters. When you start looking at that type of a response, Chad did a great job. I don't know of any of us that would be in a position to try and step forward under those circumstances, and I think it was a good response. So I just thought those stats were informative, and just a personal pushback to some of the keyboard warriors that had opinions during the fire. Maybe look at some of those statistics and understand what was going on at the time. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, Mr. Van Buell, because I forgot during the reports. We're looking at 14.1 for a motion to go to closed session. Councillor Smith, go ahead. I'll call that question. All in favor? That's carried. We'll need a minute to get Okay, I'll call,
I'll move that we come out of closed session, Your Worship.
I'll call that question for that motion. All in favor? Thank you. Councillor Brown?
Motion that we meet with Gibbons Council to discuss matters of mutual benefit or interest.
Anything further to discuss on the motion? Not seeing any.
Sorry, one question. Timing ASAP or?
It's-
The better, probably.
You don't have to throw the survey monkey out.
So you're comfortable with the motion reading as quickly as can be put together? Okay. Call that question, all in favor? And that's carried. Oh, Councillor Olson.
Motion to adjourn.